Americans in general are the best salespeople and the best marketers in the world.
Why did you want to come here in the first place?
But I stayed in the country because it was cheaper for the business and I didn't want to lose the opportunity. Just
I see.
my visa stuff, I was like, this is a really good job. I don't want to screw it up in any way. Yeah, had to put all my stuff in storage, car in storage. Yeah, everything. It was super stressful. Yeah, so spoke with a whole bunch of lawyers, asked them what's the best option.
How are you expanding your company?
Basically, I don't have $100,000 to spend on the business.
How do you feel about the future of staying in America for you?
I can't stay here, then my business has failed, which is unacceptable.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Visa to Venture podcast. This is a show where we interview the global entrepreneurs coming to the United States from all over the world, building amazing companies. Every entrepreneur we interview has a unique skill, a unique company, and a unique journey that brought them to the United States with a visa to build and launch their companies. In this episode, we're going to interview Halen Youles. He is from Australia, and he was the first employee for Cloud Kitchens, a company started by the co-founder of Uber. Later on, he moved to the United States and started ScaleMate, a global agency helping entrepreneurs with systems and technology. Halen has an amazing journey, an amazing story to share, and I'm excited to speak with Halen today about what he did, how he came to the United States, how he got his visa, and what motivates him to continue to grow his company in the United States. As you know, to be a founder in the United States, to get a visa, is not an easy journey. And we dive in every week into a new founder story to understand what brought them here, what got them from this point onwards, and how their visa journey empowers them to keep building and scaling themselves in the United States. All right, so welcome back to the podcast. And Halen, first of all, thanks for being here. We always inspire to meet global entrepreneurs and just learn from their journeys. And I think your story is also very interesting. So appreciate you being here. How's your day going today?
It's going well, and thank you very much for having me. My pleasure. Amazing.
And so how many years are you already in the US?
3 years.
3 years.
It's gone by fast.
Whenever I meet or speak with entrepreneurs that are coming from other countries, there's always this period of time when they spend in the US, how it changes their demeanor and how they think of things. And they usually break it down. There's one guy that he started a chain of bike stores, and he was telling me, I think it was Swedish, he was telling me that he breaks it down to the 5-year stretches. So the first 5 years, you still have your home, kind of like you still think like an Australian in your case. Yeah. And then after the first 5 years, you start getting this mix of influences. You know what I mean? So I'm just curious, do you have that, or you still kind of think like a...
I think I'm a little bit faster to adapt to my surroundings than 5 years. I think maybe a year and a half.
Right.
I got American influence. Now, I don't usually get influenced by the outside world too much. Right. Obviously you can't like fully protect yourself against that or lean into it 100%. But I was always a little bit of a different one in Australia in terms of work ethic. Yeah. That was one thing that I stood out from the crowd with. I'd work Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, even while I was working for someone, which is like unheard of in Australia. In the US, it's a little bit more common just because of, I guess, the capitalistic nature of the country, to be honest. That's what it comes down to. But I always stood out a little bit. I kept that up, obviously, but there's definitely some cultural differences with Americans. I find it most conversations center around work, which I actually like.
Right.
I know a lot of people wouldn't like that in Australia, but I actually like it. So
right. Well, it's not just conversations. I would think it's even, like you said, the mindset of work is so different. Especially European. Let's say when European entrepreneurs are coming to the US, it's an adjustment period to say, well, we'll take time off on the weekend. But in the United States, if you're building a company, there's no weekends for many years. right?
Yeah.
And so, but it's also exciting, right? Versus, when I started one of my first businesses here, when I would go back home and I would tell my friends, oh, we're doing this and this, and I'm working 7 days a week, 20, it almost feels like, oh, this guy is weird.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah,
here, right?
So,
Versus here, when we go to, I chat with my friends who are doing businesses, or you are going. There's so many, meetings here. You can meet entrepreneurs, and we're all sharing this. The concept of working is not weird. It's almost like, nobody makes a big deal out of it, right?
yeah,
It's
admirable here. Like everyone admires someone who's, working hard and striving towards something a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Versus in Australia, and definitely Europe for sure. I know that culture as well.
Right.
It's like not frowned upon, but it is like, oh, just have fun, work-life balance, a little bit more, work-life balance oriented, I'd say. Whereas here, it's like go hard or go home, which I like. Another massive cultural difference, which is a huge improvement, I think, over Australia, is the level of networking Americans in general are the best salespeople and the best marketers in the world. 100%, hands down. That's almost not my opinion. I think that's fact at this point. But they're also very, very good networkers. I've learned a lot just from like friendships I've had in California and here, of just general networking and like always putting a hand out to help someone. Americans are very good at that. Very, very good at that. So that's something I've picked up on for sure.
Right. What do you think is that? That, because it's something in the culture. It comes from the point of them working a lot, not having the separation where, if I'm building, I'm not gonna go sleep at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, versus the constant feeling of there's no ceiling to what I can do, right?
There's no ceiling, and there's also no safety net.
Correct.
There's also no floor. So in Australia, you've got a pretty comfortable safety net with Centrelink is what it's called. It's just like if you're unemployed, you get X amount of dollars, and it depends on a few other like variables how much you get. But there is a very big safety net in Australia that doesn't exist here as well to the same extent. There is still some protections, but having that like fire under your belly is a very American thing.
Right. Well, it's kind of like goes back to where people say, well, if in my country we have the health insurance, we have this, we have that, and I get unemployment, whereas in here it's if you're not gonna make it, nobody's gonna save you. Well, more like no one is coming to save you here, right?
Yeah.
But in your case, what actually brought you here? Like, why did you want to come here in the first place, the U.S.?
Yeah. So. I was working in tech for a while. I started in cybersecurity, and then I went into startups. I found myself like Googling startups and reading publications and all this stuff like in my spare time. And I was already in a cybersecurity company, and then we were working with a lot of software providers, and they would come in and pitch to us, and it was always like exciting to me to hear startups and the story of 0 to $1 billion and whatever. So I ended up getting a job working for Travis Kalanick. Travis Kalanick is most famous for starting Uber. Luckily, I can claim that I was the first employee in Australia. That was pure luck. I just got a message on LinkedIn. So it's a nice story.
Of his new company, the one he was going to start at the time.
Cloud Kitchens. Cloud Kitchens. So worked there, did very well. I've always been in sales. Did very well there, helped build the business, was the sales manager, ran the team. And then they actually moved me to LA. But the interesting decision on my side was they said, do you want an emerging market, one that is pre-launch or about to launch or just launched, like very, very new, Brazil, something like that, maybe a European nation, or do you want to go to the big dog, which is America, right? And I had that decision on my hands, and I obviously chose the latter, and I think it was overall a very, very smart move. Lots of experience, lots of meeting people, Western nation, speak the language, all that sort of stuff. And obviously the land of opportunity. So I think I made the right call, but that's how I got here.
But how, so when they moved you here, they moved you on on a transfer visa? What was your first visa when you came here?
E3.
So you had an E3 as an Australian, which was the easiest way to come. Great.
Yeah.
So they moved you here, you start working, and then And I think most people don't realize, and I think that's kind of why I like to, in addition to understanding where the journey is coming from the entrepreneurs, also, figure out the complexity of these visas, because with the E3 visa, you could have only worked for them, which means that,
I
right?
found that out the hard way. Yes.
You didn't know, right?
No, I did know, but
you knew.
I wanted to leave that business like soon after I left.
Right.
And then I started running into all the problems and the rules, and you have to leave and come back and re-enter, otherwise you don't have freedom to leave the country and you're kind of trapped and all this sort of stuff. So I started learning about the complexities of immigration. So I actually did change companies. I went into a consulting company for startups. And
so you moved the E3 from this company to another company.
Correct, but I stayed in the country because it was cheaper for the business and I didn't want to lose the opportunity. Just
I see.
Visa stuff, I was like, this is a really good job. I don't want to screw it up in any way. The easy transfer, but now I can't leave the country and then come back. I don't have the re-entry stamp on my passport.
Correct.
I was like,
you only have status. You
Exactly.
don't have no visa anymore. You're now stuck in the country.
Yeah. So going back and forth with the lawyers on that one was a little bit annoying, and then they can't pay you until you've got it all done. So, I mean, they shouldn't pay you at least. So we had to go through all that, and then I eventually went to a different business, and that's when I got my like stamp, or I don't even know the term for it, but
like your visa stamp.
Yeah. And then I did it with that company, and that was the last E3 that I've had. So I was talking to another person a couple of days ago who was here on L visa, and he was telling me that one of his big frustrations about coming to the United States through a company is that there's a lot of almost kind of like you're dating somebody, and then it's like, oh, it's great, I'm a great person, and then when you come to the United States, you discover the real person, where in this case you can't switch companies easily. If you lose your job, you have to you have 60 days to do that. There's a lot of stress of how do I keep myself legal while I'm trying to build myself professionally. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So I'm curious for you, knowing that obviously you came here, you wanted to stay here. How did you deal with this visa uncertainty, trying to, as I do the right thing in terms of keeping yourself legal, but also being able to professionally advance with the right employer?
It's a balance. It is pretty stressful because on an E3 you've only got 2 years and then you need to renew. So there's always that pressure. It just affects like small decisions. Well, I mean, kind of small decisions, like buying a nice bed. When you got a decent job, it's over 6 figures, but it's not millions and millions of dollars, right? So you've only got a bed for potentially 2 years. Do you want to spend $1,000 or $500, or go get it off Facebook Marketplace, or find a furnished apartment, right? You don't know. So it affects things like that you kind of underestimate as well, which was the position I was in at the beginning. I'm not in that position now. But then in terms of professional development, I definitely felt trapped at the beginning, like, because I went from startup fun culture to like kind of big corporate at the start. And then you start looking for jobs, and then you think about like, will the next company pay for this visa? Because then that limits your options. Not every company can do it.
For sure.
Now on the E3, you have to be I forget the terminology, but it's something like a special person or a special class.
Specialized knowledge.
Specialized knowledge. That's it. So at least you should be getting paid a decent salary. So even if you had to cover the visa yourself, you probably could.
Right.
But finding a company to do that, making sure it's the right move, having to potentially say, hey, I've got to fly back to Australia just to get a stamp so you can employ me. Like, those are big decisions on the company side as well. So
no, but that's kind of like I said, that's one of those things that people who are here on a visa, I feel like they should know about it before, but once you find out, you kind of like you have to deal with it. So you're working for this company, they sponsor you. At what point do you start thinking, well, maybe I can do something on my own? And what was it? The idea that you wanted to do something on your own?
Well, I've always wanted to, but it wasn't 100% my decision, and it just like happened naturally. So the company I was with had to make a tough choice on the last 5 people they hired, and I was in the last group, not performance based, not anything, like did hit every number under the sun with them, so was doing well. They had to make that decision, so they let me go. 16th of December, which my birthday is the 17th of December, which is a week before Christmas. And I was like, damn. But literally on the you know, let go call or whatever, the layoff call, in my head I like processed it, and I was like, I've always wanted to start my own business. I love what I'm doing now. Yeah, that's fine. No worries. I'm all good. No hard feelings, kind of thing. But then now the clock starts. I got 60 days to leave the country, right?
Right.
So I had to figure all that out. I actually went to Colombia because it was closer, and then I went back.
So you left the country, you know, trying to figure.
Yeah, had to put all my stuff in storage, car in storage. Yeah, everything. It was super stressful. But that's what got me to start my own thing, which obviously now is a blessing in disguise. A lot of stress. I was out of the country for 4 months, came back, and have been working on the business ever since. So almost like 2-ish years on the business. So started as a side hustle kind of thing, and I was doing all little bits and pieces on the side, but then obviously when that happened,
you had this idea, right? You think, okay, that's when I lost my job. I'm thinking about this. Maybe you can walk me through it, because I think it's important for people who listen to this. A lot of people who are here, you know, H-1B visas, O-1 visas, they want to jump and have their own business, and obviously, you know, we'll talk about the visa that is connected to it for you. In your case, it will be the E2. But what was the process that you were kind of like realizing, starting to figure out, from the idea that you had to starting your company, and then trying to figure out how you'll do it legally in terms of visas? Like in a nutshell process.
So spoke with a whole bunch of lawyers, asked them what's the best option, basically. Right. I don't, at this point I have no idea what an E2 is, right?
Right.
Like, completely thrown in the deep end. I'm like, I'm on an E3, what can I do with that? Like, that's just... So basically determined that E2 is the best option. With Australia, compared to like India and other countries, we have a pretty good treaty where the dollar amount invested isn't crazy. It's still crazy by some standards, but it's not insane. Right? Then I'm like, okay, E2, found the lawyer, they're relatively cheap. It's probably going to cost me XYZ to do this thing. What do I have to invest in? And I remember being like, are there workarounds? That's always my first thought, right? As a founder, it's like, are there little workarounds? Do I have to transfer the money? Do I need receipts? Like all these questions are coming up in my head to try and minimize costs, right? Basically, I don't have $100,000 to spend on the business. What would I buy? I'm in software.
Because they told you need to have 100,000. That was like the conclusion.
I've got the money. I'm saying, what do I spend it on? What am I going to buy? A laptop, software.
Right.
What else do I need? So I'm talking to a lawyer going, hey mate, I don't think I could spend $100,000 even if I wanted to on this thing. Like, everything's done for a laptop. So he suggested buying an office space.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I did. So I now have an office in Miami. I don't use it. I could use it, but I don't use it.
So what you did, you physically purchased an asset.
Correct.
As part of your, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So office space, obviously a small office space, not a massive building or anything.
Yeah.
Equipment, so desks, laptops, all that sort of stuff. Already had a whole bunch of software that I was paying for, so put that towards bill, new marketing stuff, like everything you'd need to launch basically went towards the cost base of the visa. Right.
And so then you set it up, and then you did you go back to Australia to apply for it?
Yeah, I went to Colombia for 3 months, and then back to Australia for a month, saw family, and then got it. So.
And then came back with the visa.
Came back 5 years on the stamp. Pretty good feeling.
Right. So you know, this is actually kind of like interesting, because most people don't realize that, you know, the United States has those kind of options like the E2, or there's other equivalent to that on the green card side. But you come back almost with the license to make money in a way. Yeah. You come in here and they say, here's 5 years, because it is what it is. People don't realize it. They're like, you know what? We're giving you those 5 years. Some countries get 3 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
Go do whatever you want. We're not going to check on you. We're not going to go knock on your door. They don't do that. But your job is to make money. And if you're not going to get renewed, essentially. That's kind of like The
So,
unwritten rule of this visa.
so the process, you have to put together a very comprehensive business plan. So
Right.
headcount planning, hiring planning, projections, expenses over time, all this sort of stuff. And everyone knows in a startup, like a small business that's just starting, you can't predict 5 years of costs and revenue. Like that's just ridiculous, but you have to do it anyway. So part of that's headcount planning. My headcount is, I think I have to hit 6 people. I don't know. I haven't gone through the renewal process. I don't know if they're going to go, you haven't hired 6 people, you can't renew. I'm not sure. Or you've hired 5, like see you later. Like I don't know how stringent they are on it. But you do have to plan, like I'm probably going to need an assistant. I'm probably going to need an ops person, a marketing person, all that stuff. So.
Well, I mean, they're checking obviously to make sure that, it's a legitimate business, but it's still, I mean, I always see it in a way that, what would you do if it was just a regular business without the E2? Maybe you would have less money invested, but it doesn't matter. But you still have to make it work, right?
Yeah.
So how are you expanding your company? Company's called Scale Mate. Scale Mate.
Yeah. So 2 ways. So started with my, like, it's a services business, right? So it's just like selling tech basically for B2B SaaS businesses, if in the simplest form, helping founders do that, super early stage companies.
Right.
Have done that for the last 2.5-ish years, 3 years. Now we're expanding into a product business. So there's a component that every business knows about. It's lead generation. That's one thing that we do from a services angle. Now we're like productizing that, automate a lot of the stuff we do, and then sell the product to other businesses to leverage for lead generation specifically. So that's kind of the latest thing I'm doing. Product's nearly ready, but the services business is still running. Headcount wise, I just hired my biggest hire ever, 6-figure employee base, which is scary. I didn't think I'd be doing that this quick. So payroll's getting pretty large now. And then I got
what's the position that you brought in?
She's head of GTM, like go to market basically. So she helps other clients with their sales strategy, and then she's also part of our sales process too. So right now it's been me selling and getting new clients, but she's taken on kind of first calls and stuff like that.
So is this company, ScaleMate, would you say, is this your first real business?
Yeah, I was trying something in Australia, but then I got this opportunity and I had to kill it. It was in the food tech space. It didn't really get up. We had like a couple of test customers, and then I got the opportunity to leave, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do this. So yeah, I had to kill it. But yeah, I always wanted to start my own tech business. I didn't know what it was going to be or when it was going to be, and things just fall into place.
I'm always curious about that because, like I said, people have different reasons why they do it and experiences. But are your parents entrepreneurs, or they work for companies?
The reason I'm laughing is because my dad is the most risk-averse person I've ever met. I've had to consciously change my mindset to avoid being that risk-averse. So what
does he do for work?
He's been in tech, but he's on like training and enablement.
But he works for a company.
Yeah, for 25 years or something.
Oh, so the tenure, got it.
Yeah, he's one of those, like, big job, all right, I'm here forever, like one of those.
Yeah.
So super, super risk averse. Like, I wanted to take risks of buying property in Australia, which I did. He was, always like, oh, careful, what about the market and blah, 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 blah. Don't take the startup job, it's a startup and it's COVID. Like, all the parent stuff of just like, don't take risks, where I've now completely taken the opposite approach of take the biggest risks.
Right. So. Well, how about your mom?
Well, stay-at-home mom. She didn't really have a career. So from like pretty risk averse, not overly entrepreneurial, I would say.
Well, the reason I'm asking you that is because, a lot of people that are coming here on visas, starting companies, for them, the move to the US itself is almost like a reset. And you're leaving a very known environment. Even for myself, I'm originally from Israel. When I left and I came here, it's almost like your mind is, you have like a reset because your family is not there, your parents are not there, your close friends, and all you do is decisions that you make for yourself, and you're taking those risks so quick without having anybody's second opinion. And I think that alone coming to the US, doing that is a big input and an impact for entrepreneurs who are starting something new here. Versus if you had to do it in Australia,
Yeah.
it would have probably been a different kind of process, I would imagine.
Yeah, and you've got like some level of family, at least, support system. Whereas
Right.
here you make friends, but again, they're not high school friends who you're
No.
friends with from like day one. It's like
Yeah.
they're new friends, they're adult friends. I moved when I was 24. It definitely, or 23. It definitely matured me quickly, for sure. It's a pivotal moment. Obviously, it's a massive decision, massive move, but it's a pivotal moment in your life where I felt like, honestly, left Australia a boy, and then became a man here because it's fully independent. So
right. And so, how do you feel that this, what you just said right now, this experience, is bringing your, I would say, skills, or you feel like it's going to help your business do better? That what you just mentioned, the fact that you changed so fast from being a boy, as you said, to a man, somebody who is accountable for your decisions, for your people. You have employees working for you right now. How do you feel like that's impacting the growth of the company?
The mindset, the change, I guess. Definitely in a positive way. Like the fact that you have to be so independent helps. I've always been pretty independent anyway, but this is just on steroids, I guess. It's on another level. Yeah. So definitely positively. And you're right, when you don't have people, family, like best friends around all the time to just shoot stuff off of, it forces you to make quicker and smarter decisions because there's just higher stakes. Like if I lose a client, when I lose a client, my ups and downs are very big because the contracts are large every month. If I lose a client, it's anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month that's just gone, right? So it's high risk, especially when you start, you've only got 1, 2, and then you halve your income, and then you've got to go find another one, and all this sort of stuff. So the ups and downs in any business are pretty drastic, but this is a switch off, like straight away. If a client stops a contract, it can significantly affect income. Right. You just become very independent.
No, I feel it. I mean, even the way you express it. You have the E2 visa right now. And obviously, it's a temporary visa. But are you thinking about the future in terms of like, okay, so I'll keep building the company. Do you want to be a permanent? Do you want to get a green card or stay here, or how do you feel about the future of staying in America for you?
Good question.
And outside of whether Trump or not Trump or whatever, economically wise, things are changing. But how do you see yourself? Because, people who are here on temporary visas, like the E2 or ones, there's always something weird about being temporary anywhere, right? And I think most Americans who I'm talking to, I mean, I'm a US citizen now, but I went through the process of visa just like you. I had an H-1B visa, then I had the green card through the company. But being on a temporary status creates some kind of feeling of uncertainty, even if it's a small one. In terms of, what do I do? Do I plan this? Do I plan that? Do you ever think about that? Things like that?
I block that out on purpose because if I want to stay here, and let's take out a wife and marriage and all that stuff.
For sure,
Just pure business. I can't stay here, then my business has failed, which is unacceptable. So
of course,
I can't even think about that because if I want to stay, I need the renewal. To get the renewal, I need to be successful. So that's completely blocked out. I don't even think about it, to be honest. Then there's the personal life. There's the wife, marriage potential for a green card. Definitely that comes up for sure. I've got a girlfriend here, so who knows? But
you have a girlfriend in the US?
Yeah. Nice. So definitely, obviously, crosses my mind. And then I'm sure what crosses her mind is what's the Australian visa system like?
Right, exactly. In case you have to move there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talking about that, was there ever a moment that your visa status had an impact on a business decision? Right? Because that's something that I hear a lot from entrepreneurs that I talk to, and they do make decisions based on their visa status sometimes.
I haven't had to do that yet. I mean, the only decision would be towards America because it's the capital of tech. So every decision that I would make would be centered around America, like time zones, for example. If I
No,
wanted
but what I mean here, for example, let's say, let's say you're running towards the end of your E2, and somebody wants to invest in you. So stuff like that means you have to make some changes now. Okay, I only have 6 months left. I need to get, I don't know, a green card or something like that. It's an extreme example, but did you ever have anything like that? Say, you know what, because I'm on an E2, I'm gonna go that way versus the other way if I had a green card or citizenship.
I would love to sell my office and I can't.
Absolutely. Do you see?
I would.
Oh my God, this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Right? Because you say, you know what, somebody wants to buy it, and the market is like going a little bit, they're saying it's going down a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can't sell it right now because your E2 is gonna. Oh, that's a perfect example. I love that.
That decision, like to go from green to E2 to green card, that's basically like cashing out my investment in the country, which is a big, that would be a nice cash injection, put it that way.
Yeah.
So like.
Well, I mean, there are other ways you can get a green card. Like you can, as you keep building your company, you can use your achievements to apply for a green card, maybe in a few years. You know what I mean?
Okay, there you go.
And at that point, but at that point, and I have a lot of people that I'm interviewing on the show, and they have done so many good things in their career that they use that to get their green card by themselves.
And it's mainly centered around like job creation, right? Economic.
No, it's based on your impact to the United States. So maybe you're going to develop a product or a tool that's going to help small businesses scale, or we can show. So your contribution to the United States will allow you at some point to get a green card. You're kind of like moving towards that way because you're only 3 years in. Do you know what I mean? But you're doing the right thing right now.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. I learned something. So there you go.
See?
So in a few years, I'll call you and say, listen to this contribution.
Definitely. We'll rewind the show.
Yeah.
And we are. I keep the interviews kind of short. Like we want to keep them 30-35 minutes because just people like a short attention span. But one thing that I want to do on the show and have the same question towards the end, ask all the people that I interview, and that question that we decided to choose is, if you could go back to your 14-year-old, and I'll tell you in a second why, and use your global perspective right now, somebody who left Australia, who did some things, and you go back and say, here's what you should do now as you're 14 to empower you in the future to build amazing companies, to be a global citizen. What would be that one or two things you would tell? Now, the reason I chose 14 is because 14 is an age where most men, not women, if you were a female, I would ask the question a bit differently. But for most men, is when you develop a certain feeling about who you want to be, and you start getting confused about yourself. And if you come at that point and you get structure and clear idea about who you want to be as a man, it helps you structure. That's why I come back to that age.
Yeah, I think I was maybe a little bit later than 14, but it does beside the point anyway.
Yeah, it's just example.
So I would have said start working earlier, not on things related to school, because that was my parents' thing, which is very common, like, go get good grades and all that sort of stuff, which I did, but funnily enough, I had a crazy futuristic vision for myself somehow. I didn't work up until year 11, and then year 12 is like the one that matters. But I used to say to my mum, don't worry that I'm getting in trouble, don't worry I'm getting suspended, don't worry I nearly got expelled. One time, in year 11, I'll switch it on. Because I've always been smart, like naturally smart. And she goes, no, you won't. You're not going to have the work ethic, blah, 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 blah. Somehow I knew that I would just knuckle down year 11 and 12 and get really good grades, which I did. I don't know how I knew that.
Yeah.
But I did. I would tell myself, go and work on things outside of schoolwork that's going to benefit you. The other thing is business was a very attractive subject for me in school. Now, yes, it was fun because it was more of a passion thing, but realistically going to get a business degree is not the best choice, I think, if you have to go and get a degree, because it's very general and it can be applied to anything. Like, what is a business? Is it a healthcare business? Is it a tech business? Is it a product business, services? It's just not specific enough, and especially business marketing, which is what I started in, but then I went into business finance. I'd probably say go be an engineer or something, like something hard skill technical versus like soft skill business as well, if I had to go down that route. But work harder, start younger. I think that'd be the best advice I could give myself.
You know, when somebody asked me that question, I didn't really know what to answer, but I thought about it. And then I said, you know what? I think probably do more chores and do things that require some skill, like maybe learn how to change a tire or fix the fence and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like maybe we're kind of similar. My parents were also very like my dad had a 30-year career in the oil industry, and it's all more like, go to school, study, but don't do anything else. We'll you know what I mean? But if you at this age you start dirtying your hands and do things that are helpful, then as you get older, it kind of sinks back in and you become more of a person of utility versus you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think, but I like the what you said here. So
I think don't shoot for happiness.
Yeah.
The goal should be to be proud of yourself, because that's the byproduct of that is happiness. But like, I don't put any emphasis on like happiness anymore, even fun. I tell everyone that I don't care about fun anymore. I don't find fun.
Right. Well, whatever it applies to you, obviously.
Yeah.
And Halen, if people who are listening, they want to connect with you, what is the best way to get in touch with you? If they have questions or learn about your products and stuff like that, what is the best way?
LinkedIn's probably my main channel. It's Halen Youles, just my name. I think I'm the only one in the world. I do have a YouTube as well, Halen Youles Scalemate.
Perfect. What we're going to do is we'll put it in the show notes, so anybody who is listening to this will be able to click on it and connect with you. And it's always a pleasure. I think I'm excited to see what you're going to build. And obviously we'll stay in touch, and I look forward to connecting with you on maybe other projects as well.
Great, no worries. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Halen. Appreciate you.